How many Americans are looking to fund their retirements using 401ks?
Increasingly more and more of them. I think it's 60 million Americans are now in 401ks. It's a big change from what we used to have with the old pension plan, with the defined benefit program. You're largely on your own now, and that's why we call our program the retirement gamble. On you're on your own.
Isn't this the result of a kind of an accident, a little known part of the tax code that people didn't even understand at first?
Yeah, it was initially a tax dodge for the executives that they could put some money away and not have and it would be sheltered. And then it got out there that this was a great opportunity for the financial services industry and the mutual fund industry to see a whole new line of business, providing management of people's retirement money in these 401k accounts. But it was again, it put people on the hook for managing their own money, making decisions about how to manage risk, what to invest in, how to withdraw the money. So it's entirely different than the old defined benefit program.
There was this rough and ready individualistic confidence. The American people are smart, they'll figure this out, they're better off doing it for themselves. Well, did they?
Yeah, yeah, well, not very well. People have made very bad decisions. People have jobs, and just doing their jobs is a challenge, let alone coming home and pouring through reams of documents and 401k plan documents, their mutual fund prospectuses. This is a very big task, and they've really got the deck stacked against them.
In this edition of Frontline, instead of giving an arm's length journalistic version of the story, you put yourself into it and put your own finances under the microscope. How are you doing?
Uh, I decided why not? We're all in this together. This is not like I'm reporting on distant events in some far off corner of the globe. We're all in this, and I am, like many other Americans, facing a not so great situation. Um, I dipped into my 401k plan in order to pay for my kids' education. I went through a divorce that was costly. Um, all these things are not unusual for Americans. So I'm looking at a situation where I probably have to work well into my 70s.
They do go in there and make it pretty prohibitive to get the money out, yet millions of Americans do.
I think that it goes back to the fact that we like to um, be self-sufficient. And if we have a pot of money that we can dip into and borrow from or even just withdraw from, um, we're willing to do that because it gives us a sense of self-sufficiency as opposed to applying for a loan or asking for a handout. And I think a lot of us have made the mistake. I would have been better off having my kids take out student loans when one analyzes the interest rates and the penalties and all of that.
The story that emerges from the documentary is one that contrasts that constant assurance, you're pretty smart, this is easy, you can do it for yourself, with a different kind of reality. This is pretty difficult and complicated, isn't it?
It is hard to do it for yourself. And we were seduced during the 80s and 90s when we had a run of 20 years of pretty much not much trouble. We had a little dip in 87. The market recovered within a matter of 8 months, I think it was, um, or even a shorter time. And, we were paying high fees for these mutual funds that we were in, but nobody paid much attention because we were making great returns, and that masked the problem. Once we hit 2000, the tech bubble burst, and then 8 years later we hit the real estate bubble. People came to a rude awakening that these fees were costing them a lot of money and that it wasn't so easy to manage this. It's kind of rigged against human psychology. The problem being that you see a hot fund and you think, yeah, I want a piece of that action. You jump in. Well, the chances are you jump in just when that fund is about to tank.
Because that's how you know it's hot, right? It's been going up and up and up and up.
Past performance does not guarantee future results, unfortunately, but that's in the fine print. And the financial services industry isn't necessarily looking out for your best interests. There are registered investment advisors who are fiduciaries. In other words, they have a responsibility to you legally. But that's not the case with many people that hang shingles and give financial advice. Not to say that those people are all out to scam you, but there are people who are not giving good advice, and it is a buyer beware situation. Nobody's really watching out for you unless you know how to navigate these waters, and that's what we hope we give people a little bit of information in tonight's broadcast so they can make better decisions about their finances.
So is the financial services industry the real winner in the 401k story?
Well, sure. I mean, they saw a great opportunity as people started to put money into these plans. They were not dependent so much on these funds going up and down in value. They were making fees and commissions on trades. This is a sure bet for them. Obviously, if the market goes way down, they make less money because their assets under management are less, and the fee that they get is less. But by and large, this is a good game for them. Retirement is big business. We've got $10 trillion and growing of money in IRAs and 401ks. 1% of that, 2% of that, it's a big number.
Martin Smith of Frontline. The show is called The Retirement Gamble. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ray.